All right. Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the market trader. Before we get started, let's review our risk disclosure. Okay, so here we just to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the market trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Testimonials appearing on the company's website may not be representative of other clients or customers and is not a guarantee of future performance or success. Use of the information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does contain a fair amount of risk, is not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used when trading. Nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that I've gotten the risks out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the news. Okay. Understand what we have in the horizon here that could impact the markets. So we've had good morning, Marcelo. We've had a fair amount of news in the markets already. Okay. So we've had CPI has already reported. We have crude oil inventories reporting later this morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and then we have some note yield reports coming out at 1 p.m. Okay, so the report that probably has already shaken the market here to some degree has already been published. So we'll really the only thing that really impacts, I guess, could impact the market is limited to the crude oil market. Okay, so for those who trade crude oil, 10:30 a.m. is an important time. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move on from the news portal and to our trading platform and see what the market has to say. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our trading platform. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Let's see. Okay, my trading platform. There it is. Okay, so there's my platform. I have gold up at the moment. We're going to go ahead and turn off some of our levels here just temporarily to get a kind of a good sense of what the market is trying to accomplish here. So right now we kind of entered a stage in the gold that's a little bit indecisive here. You can see here over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, we really haven't established any new ranges. We've been kind of in this consolidation area, okay, with a fair amount of indecision. Okay, now we do have a developing bullish candle after a series of kind of neutral candles. Okay, so I don't know if this will be the candle that will establish a new high a new recent high in this market. But nonetheless, it does appear that the market is in some sort of range on the upper end of that range. Okay. The question is, are we able to get above 29.35, or is this going to be another time where we kind of fade away? Now we have reached this area, okay, this area where we've seen sellers in the past, and over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 5 trading sessions, we really haven't moved away from it all that much. Okay, So we're not necessarily finding a lot of sellers to push the market back lower. Okay. On the contrary, we're starting to find some buyers. Okay. Um, moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so 30-minute chart, we have our developing bullish engulfing candle. We have a candle here, this most recent candle. I guess I'm assuming this is a result of the news. Has been quite bullish. Okay, so far. We have obviously an area here that looks like price has been met with some sellers. For now, we have a relatively probably a slightly wider initial balance range than we normally see in the gold. Okay, you can see these other kind of initial balance ranges in the past have been relatively slightly less than what we're seeing right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here and see what that has to say for Tuesday. Okay, we're going to drag this across here, and you can see that prices pretty much remain in balance. Okay, as I mentioned, we were in this kind of range, kind of price action of late, and you can see that price is on the upper end, but in the area of value from yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a little line here at value area high. Okay, because that's going to be an important level to understand whether we can get above or not. Okay, if we manage to get above that, close above that with some excuse me, close that above that with some volume, that could lead us to maybe some higher prices in this market. Okay. As I mentioned, we do have a relatively strong 30-minute candle. We're still another 30-minute candle away from establishing the initial balance range in an otherwise market that's been ranging of late. Okay. Really have not made any new highs or lows recently. Okay. And when we did make a new high, that was met with some sellers here. When we did make a new low, that was met with some buyers. Pure definition of range. Okay. So we have the initial balance range. One other thing that I'm going to add to this chart is our anchored VWAP. Get a sense of where we are with respect to London. Okay. And you can see that price is also above London here. Okay. For, let's see, Wednesday. Yeah. We're also above London. So let's go ahead and add the other price levels that I'll be tracking in this market. So we'll go ahead and do this. Okay. Let's go ahead and locate those. We'll add this to the chart here. Okay. All right. And then we'll also add ADR and ASR just to get a sense of where we are in reference to those to those as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up ADR. Okay. So ADR still has a ways above, and I'm assuming the same is true of ASR. Actually, ASR from London, let's see, open up London here. Okay. London, I think, still has a ways to go. Yeah, so still has a little bit of some more to travel here. Okay, so again, this area here around 2933.6 could offer an area of reversal in price. We did already, I guess, to some degree, have already come up to this area and reversed away from it. Okay, to some degree. The question is, if we do come back to this 2933 level, this seems to be an important level from a resistance point of view, right? Also, okay, are we able to get above this area of value here? Okay, not only above value, but are we able to get above some structure? Okay, above. Okay, otherwise we'll continue to remain in this kind of balance range. Okay, So let's spot check some of these levels. We have value area high here at around 29.27. That's within tolerances here. We have value area low coming in at 2920.6. Okay, that's within tolerances as well. And then we have a point of control at 2923. Okay, so everything seems to be in order. The only thing I really need to modify here is our average session range high. So I'm going to modify that to 2933.6. Okay, and then our average session range low, I think, is pretty much consistent in both. So 2900, okay, seems to be the level here, 2900.8. Okay, and that is the case for both the average session range and average daily range. Okay, maybe average daily range slightly higher. So we'll go ahead and leave that at 2902.50. Okay, so what to make of this market? So again, coming into this market may not be the best market right now, given that it's inside this kind of range. Okay, it might be a little bit difficult to navigate. We have price remaining inside of balance, so we really need price to get outside this balance range to really get into some sort of directional move to really participate, because this range right here is a bit on the narrow side and may be difficult to kind of navigate and potentially execute a trade here. Okay, so I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for initial balance to establish. I'm going to wait for price to see if it gives some indication. Really, I guess really to entertain long, I feel like I need to get above 2933.6, honestly, to really feel like I have a sustained opportunity here. Otherwise, on the low end, probably 2918 would be maybe 2918.5 would be an area that I would maybe potentially look at, maybe for a potential short. Okay, moving on to the looking to see if there's any questions. Don't see them, and we're going to move on to the crude oil market. Again, today we have EIA. Okay, we have EIA, so something to be aware of. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. We'll do and move up to our daily chart and get a sense for what the market is trying to accomplish. Now, what's interesting here is that we've gotten a gap up. Okay, we opened with a gap to the upside. Okay, that gap has since appears to have been filled. Okay, but the fact that we opened up in the gap is some indication of maybe some bullish price action. Okay, so if we are able to maintain above 67, okay, that would be quite the feat for the bulls here. Okay, because it would be an indication that it's able to break some structure to the upside. Good morning, Swindler. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. We have this gap open in the crude oil. We'll move down to the 4-hour chart, see what the 4-hour chart has to say here. And we're starting to maybe develop a little bit of a demand zone here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our ASR and our ADR here. Okay, and get a sense for where the market is. Okay, so you can see here that we have a little bit of a demand area that's been established here around 66. Okay, so right around here. Okay, 66 seems to be an area of demand, and now we've come down, tested that level one other time, and it's been responsive to the upside. Okay, now we're not certainly not out of the woods yet with respect to breaking out of bearish structure, but the fact that we are able to, I guess, move from a bearish down to more of a range is an indication that we found some buyers, okay, in this area around 65, around 66, 67, okay? But to be honest with you, really to kind of break structure to the upside, we need to get above 68. in this market. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 68 as kind of this area of resistance. Okay. We are working our way above this area structure here. 67 is also relatively important. Okay. But I would say that 68 is another important level in the crude oil market. Okay. Because I think that would be one of the not early, but one of the indications that we are able to break some structure that has been a bit rangy of late. Okay. So we've been in this bearish price action. And you can see here that I'm able to kind of sustain price in a box, right? So if I can get price in the box, then that's an indication that I'm in some sort of trend, not trend, but consolidation. Okay. So this whole area seems to be somewhat supportive. Okay. The question is, are we going to be able to break above, okay, what appears to be above this area around 68 to then open up the door to maybe price getting back to 69 and ultimately around 70, okay, in the short term. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart. We're going to move on to the 30-minute chart, kind of refine our view here a little bit. So you can see here, again, we got a focus around the fact that we were able to bounce away from this area of demand that we established. Something else to note here as well is the fact that look at how the volume, price volume is increased. Volume delta is telling us that there is a good amount of interest to the bullish side in this market, and it's supported with volume. Okay. So all indications right now indicate that maybe we are in the midst of maybe some bullish price action, okay, and that it is somewhat sustained, okay, over since the beginning of London all up till now, okay. We're about let's say less than 10 minutes from the open of the session. We're going to be opening up at the upper end of the range here, okay, and again, we've broken above 67, which I think is relatively important. All right. I would say that if we can remain above 67, okay, I'm just going to mark a line here. I'll say 67 here, right about there. Okay. That this would be an area of potential support. Okay. I'm going to modify that from red to green. Okay. So this would be an area of relative support. Now we are a bit extended from VWAP. Okay. So we've crossed VWAP and have not made it back to VWAP. Okay. So it would not be out of the question to see price come back. Okay. Come back. Let's see if I can find my arrow here rather than my trend line. Okay. So here would not be out of the question for price to come back down, say to 66.81. Okay. Right around here. And then continue its trek to the upside. Okay. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay. This particular instrument is looking a bit clearer to me as far as direction than what I was seeing in the gold market. Okay. So a good opportunity, I would say, is for maybe a pullback to this VWAP area and then potentially take an execution around 66.80. I think would be a relatively important area to maintain our bullish stance right now in the crude oil market. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our anchor VWAP here. See if I can first locate our fixed range volume profile first. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Tuesday, drag that across to the close of Tuesday. Okay. And see where price is in relation to yesterday's value. Well, you can see that at that 67 level, this is our first opportunity, our first indication that maybe we have some buyers who are taking some initiative steps to take price higher. Okay, so 67 is not only coming up from a structure perspective, but we see that on a value area high perspective. This 67 level is relatively important. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up anchor VWAP. We're going to go ahead and select this pivot. This was at the bottom of London here. And now price remains above the anchored VWAP I'm going to go ahead and open up our ADR and ASR here. And see, ADR is, so we're kind of in the middle of the range there. And then we're going to go ahead and open up ASR. Okay. And so we kind of breached through ASR here, high here. Okay. With that's kind of an indication of some strength here. So this area here, again, another area around 67 is offering us maybe some indication that maybe price is going to remain sustained to the upside, okay, in this market, right? So all indications coming into the open of crude is that it appears that we are looking to head higher. I would say that the key point, obviously, is to remain above value, and I would say remain above VWAP. Okay, those are probably my two markers that I'm going to be looking at and looking for in this market. Okay, again, 66.80 seems to be a logical area for price to come back to, and then potentially continue from that point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add our levels to this chart. Okay, add our levels to this chart. So we're going to go price levels. We'll go ahead and add those here. Okay, so these are our price levels that I'll be tracking in this market. We're going to go ahead and spot check some of these. We got value area high coming in at 66.80, 66.81. Looking like more 67. So I'll modify that. Value area high is more looking like 67. So I go ahead and modify this 67. Okay. And then we have value area low coming in at 66.36. So we'll modify that as well, 66.36. All right. And then what else we got going on here? Average session range will probably change here with the open of the New York session in about 30 minutes. Okay. But as far as London goes, it's 66.95. So I'll go ahead and modify that 66.95. And then on the ADR side, that is intact. And then we got 65.58, 65.58 on the downside. Okay. So again, without, irrespective of the fact that we are seeing a little bit of selling wicks, okay, here on the top end of these candles, we seem to be in a what appears to be a little bit of a sustained move to the upside. Okay. Now the question now becomes are we going to be able to stay above some of these reference levels, value area high, VWAP, okay, for a sustained move to the upside using potentially 68 as our kind of target for this move, for this swing. Okay. So we'll have to see how the market opens here and how we establish our initial balance range before we make any sort of commitment on direction. The other thing that we need to take into consideration again today is the fact that we have EIA, okay, inventory reports today. So that could cause crude oil to be a bit sluggish until that report comes out, okay, in about an hour and a half, okay. So it probably would be wise for us if we do trade this to wait for that news event to take place, and then look to see what direction the participants want to take the market. Right now, it appears it wants to go to the upside, but we are starting to see some indications that maybe we found some sellers around this 67.34, around this area here. Okay. So something to make note of and something to continue to monitor as the market opens here. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a peek here to see if there's any questions. I do not see them. So looks like the market just opened. Okay. We've got our first 30-minute candle getting established here. Okay. Just kind of opening this up here a little bit. So we have kind of a selling wick here. And then now we have a candle that's appears to be bearish. We'll have to wait for the next 30 minutes or so to understand what kind of candle do we end up with. Does this is candle able to breach below value area high and close below it, or is this going to be something where we continue right from where it's at to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's see. I think that's all I have for the crude oil market. So we're going to go ahead and move into the equity markets. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start to take a look at the NASDAQ. Okay. So looking at the NASDAQ, we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart. Okay. So looking at the daily chart, looks like we are in the midst of developing what appears to be kind of a 3-bar reversal pattern. Okay. So we have a down bar, kind of I say maybe 3 outside up. Right? We have a down in neutral candle, and now we're developing somewhat of a bullish candle. Now the question is, are we able, okay, to break some structure, okay, to the upside? Okay. Now today we won't be able. Most likely, we'll need to wait for this candle here. So maybe in the next couple of days, we'll get a better picture of this. But we still remain in this, bearish channel to the downside. Coming into maybe an area, I would say maybe an area, probably a clear area of support here. We'd be down at this 18,700 level. But nonetheless, we are developing what appears to be a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern. Now, we don't know how this candle, that current bullish candle that we're seeing, how that is going to close. Okay, so we'll still have to wait for that. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. You can see, let's go ahead and turn off some of our indicators here. Initial balance, ADR, ASR here. Okay, and you can see that we're starting to get maybe a little bit of a series of candles here. Okay, we broke some structure here, but I would say that we really need to get above, 20,000. Let's say call it 20,250. To really start to think that maybe this market may be changing. Okay. Until that happens, okay, we have to treat the upper ends of this channel as maybe potential areas for continuation in price to the downside. Okay. So all these areas are along the channel. Okay. Probably need to be seen as areas maybe for selling. Okay. Rather than buying. Okay. Right. Unless we can break this upper channel line to the upside with some volume. Right now, the volume seems to be split between buying and selling here. Okay. Nothing really definitive as far as direction. Okay. So again, for our chart, starting to show maybe a little bit of signs of life for the bulls. Okay. But we're certainly not out of the woods with respect to the bearish kind of tone or sentiment in the market. Okay. Moving into the 30-minute chart. Okay. 30-minute chart. We're going to leave our channel there just kind of as a reference here. Maybe if I can maybe tone it down here a little bit would be good. Let's see if I can do that. Settings, maybe make it a little less visible. No, Let's see, we got a background. Let's go ahead and turn the background off here. That'll help. Yeah, that helps. Okay. All right. So we have the channel. We've removed the background. So we hopefully understand that we are still very much in the channel, beginning to break some structure here to the upside. But I would say that this level around here, around 19,900, potentially is an area that we might see maybe this restoration of our down kind of move in this market. Okay. So I'm not necessarily convinced of the fact that we've broken some structure to the upside. We still remain in bearish structure. Now, there's nothing in the volume delta side that is giving me any indication as to where they want to take price. Okay. Unlike some of these volume delta bars that we received during the session. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and start with the Tuesday here. With the start of Tuesday, we'll drag across to the close of Tuesday. Okay, you can see that price is above value from yesterday, which is obviously bullish. Okay, anytime you can get a price above value is an indication that people are willing to pay a premium to be a part of this instrument. Okay. So that is a very much a bullish sign. Okay. We're going to go ahead and add our anchored VWAP here to around the London. Okay. So London seemed to be very much interested in participating or adding to their portfolio the NASDAQ. Okay. They're seeing it maybe as buy the dip potentially. Okay. So a fair amount of buyers came in the market at the start of London. Nothing between the close of the U.S. session and the start of London. Okay. But once London hit, it looks like there's interest in participating in this instrument to the long side. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our reference levels here to this chart. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and open up our reference levels. I'll add this to this chart here. There's our references that we're going to be tracking in this market. We're still about 25 minutes away from the market opening. Okay. So can't make any references to initial balance or anything along those kind of lines. Okay. So the question now becomes, where should I focus? What level should I be paying particular attention to? Well, I would say that value area high would be an interesting level. Okay. If this is going to sustain to the upside, I would not expect price to get below value area high, which is coming in at 19,000. Let's see, 575, maybe a little bit lower than that, but looks like 575, maybe 550s. Okay, would not expect price to get too far below value. Okay, if we are going to sustain this move to the upside. Okay. Now I've already identified the upper end of this channel, okay, as maybe an area that maybe this current move could potentially falter. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at ADR, see where we are. We're already at the ADR highs here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up ASR. We're also exceeded ASR highs. So we're already at some statistical levels, okay, that could potentially cause price to reverse. Right now, really, it hasn't really, outside of the fact that we have an inside candle, kind of doji-like candle here, developing, high wave candle, if you want to call it high wave, around this ADR zone. Okay. Now the question is going to become for me, this is a logical statistical area for price to reverse. Okay. The question is, are we going to get price action to indicate that's going to take place? We've reached an area of, where price naturally reaches. Now, the question is whether we're going to reverse. Now, this move right here, obviously, is probably most likely a result of news. All right. We had CPI today, so we had a push higher, found some sellers here. Okay. And on the very next 30-minute candle, we didn't create we didn't open up with a new high. We actually kind of opened up at around the close of that price. Okay. So that could be an indication of that maybe some sellers have stepped in around this area. Okay. Looking to the left here and seeing if there's anything obvious here to the left that would cause me alarm. And I really don't see it. I guess this area has been resistant. This area right here has been resistant, but we managed to close above it. Now, that was news driven. Okay, I agree. But nonetheless, it managed to get a close above. Now, if this move is going to be sustained to the upside, I would not expect price to get below either our anchor VWAP or our daily VWAP. If price manages to close below either of those, then I would say that we could be in store for another leg lower. Okay, and that maybe 19,271.50 would be my next level of interest, maybe to the buy side. Okay. Right now, not really interested in a buy, not at these levels. Okay. Would probably wait for price to get closer to value area high or around VWAP, maybe to participate in a potential long. Okay. Otherwise, at these levels, the closer we get to the upper end of this channel, the more interest I'm going to have in maybe participating in a move back to the downside. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the Nasdaq. Like I said, we're about 20 minutes away from this establishing. We are a bit extended away from VWAP. That always causes alarm for me because we don't stay too long, too far away from VWAP. Okay, that's considered a volume weighted average price, and that's an area that where there's generally interest. Okay, so area balance, if you want to call it that as well. Okay. So in any case, coming into the market, I would say that the market is looking a little bit bullish of recent for the recent set of candles, but I'm not underestimating the fact that we still remain in larger time structures that is indicating lower. Okay. I am well aware that we are in bearish kind of structure here. Okay. I'm not fooled necessarily by the recent candles, really recent bullish candles, because this honestly could just be merely a retracement, okay, of a larger swing for price to continue to move to the downside. Okay, that is very much in the cards here. Okay, so kind of spot checking some of these levels here. We have value area high here at 552. So we'll go ahead and modify that. We have average session range high at 19,678. So we'll modify that. Okay, 678. And then we have average daily range high here at looks like 705-ish. Yeah, so we'll keep it at 700. Okay, average daily range high. That seems like a logical place for this based on what I'm seeing. Okay, average daily range high, and then average session range high is coming in at 271. So 19,271. So we'll modify that 271, and then average daily range low here is coming in at 19,125. Okay, so these are my price reference levels. These are the levels that I'll be waiting on to some degree. Okay, in order to secure or maybe entertain any sort of executions. Okay, so right now the next order of business for me is to wait for the initial balance range to establish. Okay, and wait for that range to establish before I decide what direction I want to take the market. Now we are in an area. Okay, we are in an area where we could see a little bit of a pullback. Okay, this is an area that historically has offered us. You can see here, offered us a failure, right? We got up to this range and failed. We got back up to this range again. It could also fail. Okay, we could see a little bit of a pullback, maybe back down to 19,550. And if we do manage to close back inside value, we can get back down to 19,330 without much effort. Certainly down to 400s or 19,500 without too much effort here. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the NASDAQ. Just kind of checking to see if anyone has any questions. I'm not seeing any questions on the market. So like I said, heading into the market, I understand that I'm starting to see some bullish structure. Not really necessarily interested at the current levels to buy. If anything, I might be more interested in maybe a scalp trade that would take me back down to VWAP or back down to value area high. That seems to be kind of the path that I would be more interested in entertaining. I don't because I'm able to manage my risk around these average session ranges, average daily range highs. Okay, just based on proximity where price with respect to average session and average daily range. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the ES and see what the ES has to say in with all of this. Okay, whether it's aligned, which I expect to be somewhat aligned with what we're seeing in the NASDAQ. Okay, we'll start off with the daily. Okay, so we have a developing bullish candle, really not in an area, not really a logical area here to see this action. I would expect that maybe there's still maybe another leg down to probably 5,400. Okay, this area, we have this kind of area right now is I guess could be somewhat supportive. Okay, but the logical area for me is probably down this 5,400 level based on the on the daily chart. Now, if we're just looking at these set of candles, I'm sure there's nobody in this session that would say that we are in bullish structure here. Okay, we are still very much in bearish structure, even though we are developing a bullish candle here. Okay, we have not broken any significant structures to the upside to indicate that the market is becoming bullish. Okay, the only thing that we have is that we seem to have found some interest in some buyers at these levels around 5,500. Okay, 5,500 seems to be a area that has caused some buyers to potentially step in here. Okay, 4-hour chart. Okay, so 4-hour chart. Again, we've gone from kind of bearish structure. Okay, bearish structure, and now we've moved a little bit neutral. But we've seen this story before. Bearish move, a little bit of consolidation, next leg lower. Okay, bearish move, consolidation, next leg lower. Is this going to be the same? Is this going the beginnings of our next leg lower? You're welcome, Frizu. Okay. Is this going to be the beginnings of our next leg lower? We'll have to see. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay. So we've reached some of our average session ranges, highs. Okay. Average daily range highs, and that's been met with some selling. Okay. Again, some of this is related to the CPI report. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile, and let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's value. Okay, so we'll go ahead and locate that, drag that across here to the close, and you can see that price is just a hair above value. Okay, indicating that there is some the fact that price is above is an indication that people are willing to pay a premium to be involved in this instrument. Okay, now we've reached some levels here. Okay, we have average daily range high. This is actually average session range high from the prior session. We have average session and daily that's been reached. Okay, so the question becomes now: is this going to be a logical area? Okay, for price to fail lower? Okay, and I don't have to risk all that much. Okay, probably to the highs of this candle here, which may make it a little bit of a daunting kind of trade. But the fact that if we are going to reverse, we certainly are not going to close above 5650, because if we close above 5650, then my view, the fact that we are at an average daily and session range high, then we should not expect price to get above it, right? Yeah, that's the view right now, Alejandro. The view is that the assumption is that above 5650 should fail. It's already failed once, right? The question is it going to sustain fail as a fail? Okay. Now, would probably like to see structure. Would like to see price get below VWAP. Okay, right? In order to really break the structure, and then maybe give me more confidence, and also get back inside value, right? So these are kind of the two events that I still need to see. Right now, we still remain. I understand we've gotten a couple of, I guess, ominous candles that could indicate this hasn't closed yet. We have about 10 minutes before this closes, so we don't know exactly how this is going to close. But certainly, if we do get a close below VWAP, maybe a close back inside value, we could quickly see a rotation back to the lower end of value before we find any buyers. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and add our price levels here to this chart here, and see here what we find. Okay. So here are our price levels. Okay. So a little gap here. Looks like in value area high is missing. So we'll see if we can add that back trying to move this bar away, this text box away to a logical level here. Okay. Let's see if we can locate our value area low, because looks like that's been removed here. So let's value area low is 55.64. So let's go ahead and add that here. 55.64 is our value area low. Okay. Okay, that's our value area low in this market. All right, 55.64. Let's go and just add that here as well. 55.64, 50, I think was value area low. Okay, all right. So yeah, so in any case, we're just going to spot check some of these levels. We have value area high around 56.14. That seems to be in order. We have the low end of value. We've already kind of added 55.64. We have our average session range high here at 56.38. Okay, so average session range high is 56.38. So we'll modify that 56.38. Okay. And I'll make that 75. Okay. But again, we don't trade necessarily with a scalpel. We trade with kind of a little bit of a butcher knife. So we're just talking areas here, right? We got 55.54. Okay. 55.54 on the low end here. Okay. And let's see, I think everything else seems to be in order. Okay. So again, we're about 8 minutes away from this current candle. We've got a selling wick. We got a candle that is looking, if not engulfing, certainly piercing, bearish. Okay. If we do manage to close below VWAP, I'm going to go ahead and add my anchored VWAP to this, because it does appear that we've had some buyers here from London. Okay. If we do manage to close below this, that could be the beginnings of maybe a reversal. Now, more conservative would be to wait for price to get below this structure inside value, okay, before we entertain maybe a directional move in the other direction, because this area right around here, value area high and a VWAP, could be areas where we could find some buyers. Okay, certainly value area high. Okay, especially given the fact that we managed to close above it. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I have for the ES, guys. So before I move on to the last market, so these sessions that I'm providing, these pre-market and analysis sessions, have moved to a membership. Okay, have moved to membership, meaning that it is behind a membership wall. Okay. So I will be doing these sessions not on a daily basis to the public, but once a week, probably Wednesdays. Okay. So if you are interested in, being a part of the daily sessions, I would take a look and at the portal and see how maybe what level you might be interested in joining as a member. Okay. Because the analysis, this pre-market analysis, has indeed moved to a membership, level. Okay, so that's behind a membership now. Okay, so if you are interested in this kind of analysis on a daily basis, then I would recommend that. Okay, otherwise, I'll be doing these sessions to the public, kind of like a look-see, once a week. Okay, so once a week, probably Wednesdays, but that could change. Okay, Wednesdays will probably be our day where we open the doors up here and do this analysis for the public on a weekly basis. Okay, so that's kind of the changes that are coming up here. So tomorrow, I don't expect that I will be here in the public. That again will be behind the membership. It'll be available to the membership, including the recordings. Okay, and yeah. So in any case, again, thanks to those who continue to support me, and also thank those who will continue to support. Very important to really to kind of grow this portal, grow this page or this channel, to that need of your continued support here. Okay, and I do not underestimate that. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at the last market here, and that is the Dow. Okay. All right. So looking at the Dow, we're going to go ahead and look at the daily chart. Again, similar to what we were seeing in the NASDAQ and the ES, looks like we found an area, okay, where we might have found a little bit of support. Is somewhat justified here based on what I'm seeing here. Looks like there is some sort of support here at 41,675, let's say, okay. Price is just a hair above that, looks like. But nonetheless, okay, we still remain in bearish structure here. Okay, so nothing. We are seeing some maybe beginnings of maybe some interest, but certainly we're not out of the woods when it comes to the bearish price action that we've been seeing of late. Okay, so moving on to the 4-hour chart, again, you can see that we continue to create structure to the downside. We continue to create structure and staircase our way down lower, okay, in this market, okay. So we continue on that front, okay. Now we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile and get a sense for where price is in relation to value from yesterday. So we're moving on to the 30-minute chart to do that. So we'll take a peek at that. Okay, so start of the session here, drag that across to the close of the session here, okay, and you can see that price, unlike some of the neighbors, okay, has managed to get back inside value here, okay. So we took a peek above, okay, as a result of the news, and that said, not too interested in entertaining higher prices in YM, okay. So we basically peaked above and closed back inside or just above value, okay? And now we have a developing bearish candle here, okay? So the question remains, is this going to hold above VWAP, okay? Is this going to hold above our anchored VWAP, okay, which is right around here, okay? Or what it appears to be developing is an opportunity for price to maybe traverse through the entire range of value. That's what it appears to me. Okay. We're about a couple of minutes away from the open of this market. Again, I don't have any levels. I don't trade this enough to warrant that. Okay. So we went up to average daily range high here at around 41,895 and reversed away from it. Average session range low. Okay. We have around 41,302. Okay. So it appears to me, okay, that this area around 41,860 is resistant. Okay. And that we could rotate through the entire range of value here. Okay. All the way down to 41,360, or maybe even low as 41,300 before we see any buyers in this market. Okay. So like I said, here we're about a minute away from the open of this market. Okay. We have price already looking to get closed below our VWAPs. Okay. And if we do get some volume, okay, that could lead to price to head lower. Okay. Now, with that said, if we do maintain above these, okay, and manage to get above value area high, then that could lead to maybe another leg higher. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add our, this is kind of the line in the sand here that we have. Bullish above 71,000, maybe 41,740. Okay. Ideally, we want to get above 42,000. That's probably the level that really kind of would embrace our longs. But as long as if price remains in this level, that could offer us maybe a continued move to the downside. Okay. So the market has just opened. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range. Okay. So there's our initial balance range. So this candle closed bearish. Okay. So this is probably an indication that we could potentially, head lower in this market. Okay. That's kind of what I'm what I'm seeing at the moment. Okay. Price, this would kind of be more definitive to me, is if we do manage to close below this VWAP, and that would kind of, maybe give me a little bit more confidence in entertaining a short in this market. Okay. So that's kind of what I have, guys. Again, hopefully, again, you found this analysis useful. Okay. I would encourage you, as you exit the room or exit the session, to don't hesitate to hit the like button. Okay. Don't hesitate to comment about how this analysis has supported your trading. Okay. And things of that nature. Okay. So again, likes, subscribes, comments are kind of the lifeblood for content providers such as myself, and lifeblood for me to continue to do these kinds of sessions. Okay. All right. So with that, guys, I'll leave you to the markets. Okay. So what I thought was kind of developing into maybe a bearish is starting to find some buyers, it looks like, at these levels here. Okay. So again, as I mentioned, my line in the sand is that value area high at 41,737. If we do close above it with some volume, then maybe we are headed higher. If we can't get above it and get some volume to the other direction and stay below value area high, that could offer us an opportunity to the downside. Okay. So hopefully you found the open to public review to your liking. Thank you, Swindler, for your comments there. I appreciate that. And we'll leave you with the same comment I leave you on a regular basis, and that is: trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent session today, and until next time, happy trading.